SpeakEasy Conversations.
Welcome, sir. How are you?
Good.
Good. All right. This is starting off great. Hey, that's on me. That's okay. So what do you got going? What are you drinking there, man?
You first.
Oh, me first? All right, cool. So something from Daniel Fisher here. I got the Faded Key Lime Pie Sour from Brockton Beer Company.
Mm-hmm.
It's brewed with lime juice and key lime pie. So, yeah. Look at that. All complete with a duck.
Oh, look.
Oh, there it's down at the bottom. Makes it hard to read. Beer Canvas back, call Zach. That was one of his weirdly favorite things. I don't know why. So, yeah.
Because he's weird.
Yeah, that's fair. But, yeah, here's the... it's funny, and this looks a lot darker on my camera than it does in person. It's actually pretty light looking. So, definitely could smell the key lime, like pie and graham cracker crust kind of deal. Ooh.
That goes weird.
That is, that's tart, baby. Definitely get the key lime flavors out of that, though, for sure. So.
All right,
man. So I couldn't see what that was in there. Yeah, it moved away.
Whoa, it did move away.
Yeah. That's a lot of cords.
Got a lot of TVs.
Yeah, that's all
Remember?
Right. Yep, I do. All right.
Yeah, this is a...
That's the beer I had. So
who?
Yasuki was the other one he said. Ooh. I'll be doing now. I'll be doing that one next.
Oh, really? You see me coordinated gray hair.
Yeah. There we see the production value is tremendous. Pre-planning, I guess, better.
Wasn't great.
Yeah. Oh, well. What do you think of it, though?
Something weird. In a good way. What does it say? It's not a straight brown ale, Doug. It's something going on. Roasty, rich, and tostada.
Tostada.
Malty, balanced with earthy hops. I'm having a Dogala coffee porter from Coach Dog. Live combo on the screen is the shit.
Yeah, the problem for me, it's like so small, but I like that it's there.
It would be nice if it was bigger, but I don't know how you make it bigger if you're gonna have all these things on there. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
plus,
a beta.
if we have like two guests, like then that would be like over one of their faces. So we have to kind of sort that out. Look at
like
that. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, but maybe it is better though, Doug, like that.
Maybe it's better. Maybe it's better for the aesthetic. Oh man.
It's like a real stream or something.
Yeah.
You don't need it bigger. That's not what she said. Oh, so I wonder how we're looking at it on desktop. I wonder how it looks to the guys on the phones.
Yeah, because like I know it's just like down in the corner, and like fortunately I have my glasses on so I can read it, but man, I have to kind of really look at it to see it. So.
Well, let's get into All right, Doug. You wanted to talk about these guys. So actually let's just let them speak for themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
It's somewhere out there.
Hey folks, how we doing? It's your favorite
Can you
duo, Drew and Jasmine, Liquid Intrusion Brewing Company. How are you?
Can you hear it, Doug?
We are on here because we have a very special announcement for you. You ready? You ready? Yeah.
Ready.
1, 2, 3. We're finalists for the Sam Adams Brewing the American Dream Experience-ship.
Ta-da! Brewing and Business Experience-ship is part of the Brewing the American Dream program. It supports food and beverage entrepreneurs and with mentorship and resources. Each year, one standout craft brewery is chosen to work alongside Sam Adams in Boston, get expert business advice, brewing guidance, and brew a special collaborative brew.
This is a legendary opportunity for us, to say the least. We will be in NYC, Manhattan to be exact, June 5th for the Craft Beer Bash, where we'll be pouring our liquid at, specifically the African Queen and her Seven Seas IPA. For a lot of you that know, here in the DMV area, this is the liquid that we started out with. With that, it just becomes second nature for us to go up to NYC and pour this liquid as well. So we hope to see you there. The event is free. It is on our website, free to the public. So if you got any friends or family in NYC, have them come on up and, see what we're all about, all our liquid, and go from there.
And then lastly, we don't care who you are, where you're from, your orientation, your background, it's all about the liquid. And if we stay true to that, may the liquid always prevail. Cheers.
Legendary.
Cheers to them, man.
Thoughts?
Just to be a finalist in that is really cool. I mean, we had Rhythm Brewing was a winner one year. We've had Alicia on here talk about that. Well, talk about her beer before. I think last year Crowns and Hops won it. But Conso Brewing was in the finalists with them too. So yeah, it's really cool that they're getting the opportunity to actually be there. So cheers to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Wonderful. Great. Hopefully they win. I don't think there's a way we can vote, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry I popped that up, but that is really true. Those folks really hustle their ass off.
All right, Doug. So before we get into fun, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, so this coming Tuesday, we're doing Mortal Kombat Live. We're doing Hop Geek News. So doing Matt and Lauren, and we are going to discuss the Marvel Universe at large. So not like anything specific, but just kind of talk about Marvel Universe. Some hot takes coming there, I'm sure. So looking forward to that because they're a good time. They're funny. As their name implies, they're very much geeky and into all of that stuff. So I am not as versed in the Marvel Universe as they are. So it'll be a chance for me to learn some stuff as well. But I have some hot takes to go for that. So
Hot takes. So what is that again, Doug?
That's this coming Tuesday at 9 p.m., which next coming Tuesday will be the 10th.
And where can we find it?
We can find it at Mortal Content on YouTube. It's actually just Mortal Content. So you can find it there. So yeah, that's where if you want to check us out, give us a like, all the share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But, it's a good time because I get to talk about geeky shit that I like. So it's fun. And big thank you to Greg for producing that.
Yeah, and next week we have our Dad 2 reunion show with Art Eddie, Aaron Govea. Wonderful. Yep. Pretty sure people who have been invited but have not accepted are Victor Aragon, Jay Wisniewski. Did I say his name right? Jay
Wisniewski.
Wisniewski. There you go. Doug French, Victor Aragon. The whole gang's been asked. So
Yeah.
we'll see who shows up, who's available. It's a busy weekend, summer, but it should be fun. Last year was memorable. JHG, you're always invited, of course, as a Dad 2 alum. So yeah, and we'll be talking about that stuff and all that. So that'll be interesting. And Doug, one last plug of some of our craziness. You just did one of these wild things again.
Yeah, this is one of the more like, I mean, they're all weird. Don't get me wrong. This one was, we did a show about a cult called AUM, which was a Japanese cult. So this was set all in Japan. So this is something new for us. We've always basically covered ones that are in the US. They were a cult that started as a yoga group, but rapidly became a cult, and then eventually were responsible for the ricin attacks in the Tokyo subways in 1995. It is just, it's a fast, wild ride. Like, just how they got it within just a few years to that is just super nuts. So yeah, really. And Renee and I always have a good time covering this stuff. So fun. Not fun for the people that had the ricin attacks, but fun for us to cover.
And where can you find that?
That's also on YouTube. That would be the Cult Bar, I believe, the Cult Bar Show. So if you want to look over there, like I said, follow us. It's like I said, if you like cult stuff and weird shit, like Renee and I go pretty hard on that stuff. It's the Cult Bar Show over on YouTube. So
I don't know how y'all do it.
Lots of booze. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
we do have booze on the show.
That's why there's a bar. So I mean,
yeah. So I mean, it's just that we're both really fascinated with it, and so that's just becomes interesting for us. So we're able to share that with other folks, and that's cool.
Yeah, and man, it takes some mental to go through all them though.
Yeah.
Wow. And just seeing y'all's creative, the way y'all work it and behind the scenes is fun. I don't know how much I can watch.
Dude, we say at every episode, we offer trigger warnings right at the top. And we always say, if it's not something you can handle, don't watch. We're okay with that. We'd rather you take care of your mental health. Like, because some of that stuff is really fucking triggering, like really triggering. So
All right, Doug. So what's not triggering is, well, maybe it is. I did a collaboration beer and it was fun. It debuted last week at Lager and Friends. It was one of the better beers there. I know I'm being biased, but I wasn't the only one who said that. It was a Vienna lager. It's really nice. And we're still trying to figure out what to do with the rest because it's just sitting at gathering place. And the weird thing, Doug, is that so we're going to so tomorrow I will most likely be at this the Wisconsin and Beer Lovers Festival. It's down in Glendale, which is like Milwaukee basically. At a really nice venue, the Bavarian Beer House. Anyway, if y'all are going, check out Joel and I. You'll see us there. Oh, you'll see Chris there too.
Cool.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Chris is getting this in for free. Anyway,
Chris.
Yeah. So Doug, I was like, I called Joe from the gathering place. He's the owner. And I was like, Joe, can we get the Dodge beer on tap at this other thing? Because we see y'all are there. Right. And Joe responds, Doug, by saying that basically no, because the distributor is bringing cans and like this whole distributor thing.
And distributorship is weird shit.
And our beer is another SKU, and then they don't want to handle another SKU or something. And it's just really weird how the laws work against some things. So this beer, it'll probably be back on tap at Gathering Place at some point. There's just such a small amount. We won't be canning it, Hopefully next year we will be though, because there's already talk of us doing this again.
Nice.
The brewery loved the beer. We love the beer. The brewery Lager and Friends had more people sign up this year than last year. So I don't know if
Nice.
that has anything to do with us or not, but it helps because it's not like, well, we didn't have enough people that we did last year. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
all works pretty good. So hopefully we'll be able to get some in distribution next year and get it out to the masses, which will be fun. And this is the first time all four of us have been together, so that was pretty cool. And we were too busy drinking the damn beer, and that's really the only picture that I have of the fucking beer, which is a fail. But whatever. Shit was just going crazy. It was just fun. There was a lot of things going on, so I just didn't think it'd take a picture of the beer. So I don't know. You could see it there, but it was great time. How about y'all? Wonderful. Thoughts on this?
I'm thrilled for you guys because I know you were super excited to do it, and you really. I mean, you said you had so many compliments on the beer. That's great. Like, you know what I mean? It's something where you produce something and people liked it, and that's, you know, in the beer world, beer people are finicky. So yeah, I mean, it's just I'm thrilled for all of you guys.
Yeah, it was fun because there was an event the night before, and our beer was supposed to be there, but apparently wasn't, and apparently it's because of all this distributor mess. Anyway, so we didn't taste the beer, Doug, until the festival started. By the time we got all tapped, yeah, Chris had tried a little bit of it like 2 weeks ago, but like the finished product of it, no, it wasn't. I don't know. I don't know. Chris and Joel are busy. I'm in Madison. Joel's up north, or no, I'm sorry, Landon's up north. So like no one really had the ability to go and taste it before then. So then I don't know. We all tasted it right there, which was great because we all like it was all of us, and we were like, yes, let's do this. And everybody was like, oh my god, this is amazing, and we're just like, wow. And I was like, that's weird because we all don't agree on anything really ever.
Yeah.
Well, we do public facing, but you know, behind the scenes, there's a lot of things being said.
For sure.
So yeah, man, it was good. And then people were giving us great feedback. So yeah, it was fun. Doug, you had a different kind of beer adventure though.
What did I have? My brain is like shooting out.
Yeah, maybe it was because you were in another state down south.
Oh yeah, it was in Mississippi, a state I never thought I'd ever visit. But
correct.
My wife's sister lives down there, and we went to down there and hung out with her and her partner, and went to a few breweries. One that I really enjoyed was we went to a place called 3 Foot Brewing. They had some really nice beers. The waiter was awesome. He was just hilarious. And it was during like an art walk that they had there at the same time. So that was kind of nice that we went to that, visited the Mississippi Gulf Shore for a brief time. It was mostly just to hang out with family members and stuff. So yeah, but it was interesting because, most of the beers I found down there were not like, they didn't have a lot of heavy stuff. Most of their stuff was lighter because you're in southern climes where it's, warm all the time. So like drinking stouts isn't going to be a huge thing. Interestingly though, it was humid as hell there the whole time, but it really wasn't super hot. It was like in the 70s, which for Mississippi is not hot. And we were only about 3 hours away from New Orleans where we were staying. So, I think next time we're just going to say meet us in New Orleans and go there. But yeah, it was interesting. Like I said, I conscientiously don't go places that I disagree with on a lot of things, and Mississippi is generally one of those states. But it was the only chance I had to go with my wife to go visit her sister, who she hadn't seen in person in 6 years, and she has a dog that she can't leave So it's like kind of a thing where the only option was for us to go visit them. And it was fine. It was, 3 days. My wife then decided to go with her sister and drive from Mississippi to Ohio to their brother's, my brother-in-law's 50th birthday was that weekend, last weekend. So they drove up and went and stayed there for a few days and then drove back to Mississippi. And then my wife flew home. So she traveled a shit ton in a week and a half. So, but it was fun and some decent beers while I was there. So that was good.
3 foot? That just...
No, 3 foot, all one word. It wasn't like 3 foot brewing. It was like 3 foot.
Right.
Like, what a name. But yeah. They actually had a very cool. Yeah, I have a sticker for them. I want to show you there's a logo. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, we will get some out to the masses.
Yeah. So this is their logo, which I think is actually very simple but cool.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, their beers were good. The wait staff there was awesome. One thing I will say about being in Mississippi is all like the young women look exactly like you think they do. Like they're all Southern University young ladies. That's how they all look. So there's very much a look down there. So again, that's a general. I was in places where I wasn't going to see folks who weren't in that sort of climate, but so very much like those stupid reality shows where you see the Southern ladies and they're all like petite and blonde and have the same sort of look. And it just was interesting to me because I don't know if you do this, Greg, but sometimes I go places and I just really enjoy people watching.
Oh yeah,
just to see how all the folks interact. Like there was a very young, attractive bartender, and all the dudes just flocked right to her, and just like, and she was super nice, but she, she said sorority looks, yes, very much Southern University sorority girl look. So yeah, but not bleach blonde, bad built body, not what's her name? So yeah. Oh, do you have that one too? You fucker. Not in a bad way, sir.
Whatever way it was.
Fair point. I'm curious what you think of it.
What is it supposed to be again?
Basically, lime juice and key lime pie mixed into a sour.
Oh yeah.
Do you get the like? I got a little bit of graham cracker on the nose. Like I don't know. That's what I smelled a little bit. It wasn't like super prominent, but I really got that out of it.
Before I was told what it was because I just cracked it open. I'm still getting vanilla.
Okay.
Which vanilla is part of all that.
Sure is.
There's probably a little vanilla in that key lime. Yeah. Lime on the nose.
But I am getting tart more than sour for me. But I don't drink a lot of sours, so
I'm getting tart more than sour. Yep. Ooh, let's do some more. Ooh, it's very, very. Wow, it's jumpy.
I like how you're like, just let it roll right off the glass all over the room.
Yeah, well, it was lost at that point. So we might have a special guest here, y'all, or we might not.
Yeah, we might.
Warning. But until then, Doug, let's get rid of you for a minute. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about this.
Yeah. This is
Doug, why do you? What am I? I'm feeling deflation or something.
Not deflation. Here's the thing. I think I'm really enjoying Indiana doing what it's doing. But the thing is they have done Tyrese Halliburton is 4 for 4 on game-winning shots in the entire playoffs. That is fucking possible, especially from a guy who's a very mediocre to adequate shooter. He's a phenomenal player. But that just and Indiana has done this like fucking 5 times. Like they're down, and all of a sudden within the last 3 minutes they just scramble and then they win. It's really impressive, but it's like kind of fucked up, like in a way. Like at some point, it's like it feels like Cinderella in the carriage. At some point, it's going to hit midnight, and that shit isn't going to work for you. But hey, they're up 1-0 against the best team in the league, and best team in the league by 4 or 5 wins. And you know what? Most of the game you were watching in Oklahoma City was just looking like they could never put them away. But Oklahoma City looked a little off, and they changed their lineups that they normally don't do. So I don't know why they did that. Maybe we're trying to overthink it. And do what you're good at. Okay. But man, kudos to Indiana, man. They pulled off a giant upset, and Oklahoma City is awesome at home. So that's good for them.
I don't know. I love this. What's not to love?
I love it that it's 2 small market teams. That I love. I love that.
Well, that's great because the NBA is not loving it, because that's a great segue to the lowest rate. Thoughts on this part, Doug? Nobody cares.
You know what the problem is they do this all the time. If it's not the Lakers and the Celtics, people don't tune in. Listen, the people who really like basketball are watching this. The people that are losing out are people who are just casual fans.
Yeah, but Doug, seriously though, this is kind of weird though, because look, this is the first time since 1988. This isn't just an outlier year or a regular year. This is a really, really bad year so far. So like, is there something more than just it's not the big market teams?
It's a few things. If you watch most younger kids, my son is a giant basketball fan. He never watches games. He just watches highlights. And a lot of kids don't watch the games. So the people you are getting who are watching are, people my age, maybe a little younger, but kids who are in their teens and 20s, they don't watch games. They just go and fucking I'll just go on TikTok, or I'll go and watch highlights on YouTube or some shit, and then I'll catch what I missed. They don't, it's not their fault. They're just grouping in an area where everything is fed to them super quick. So I feel like that's part of it too.
My theory is, well, it's the small market teams for sure, but also though, added on top of that, not only is it small market teams, these guys who are leading these teams are emerging superstars. They're not superstars yet, in my opinion. And by superstars, you not only does you have to be really, really good and prolific playing, you have to be known everywhere. And these 2 guys, I don't even know how to say one of the dudes' fucking names, and the other guy has just came up on the same. I mean, he's the MVP. I mean, we call him SAG, but I seriously cannot say his name.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Well, thank you for interrupting me, but to say that, but who cares? Doug, that's not the point. Is that like, he's not a household name, is my point, and neither is Halliburton. And it's just hard to say. It's hard to get people to be riled up. If that name was LeBron James, we're talking a whole different thing. Or Steph Curry, Stephen Curry. You know what I mean? Then we're talking people just tuning in just to see LeBron, just to hate on LeBron, just to hate on Steph. There's no, these guys are not good enough yet, superstar wise. Now, once one of them wins this, Doug, we'll get to a point to where maybe they could be superstars soon, but they're not. They're superstars in the level of their play, in my opinion. Even Halliburton, I know he's overrated and all that stuff, but this dude has literally shown his he is. I don't know. He's making a name for himself in this, and I hope, I don't know, there's really nothing to hate about the guy. He's from Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know
And
that. That's cool.
yeah, he's from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, went to Iowa. So we kind of know him out here a little bit. And I don't know, he's a good guy. He's a little he's fiery, and I don't know. I love the underdog story from him. I love the underdog story from Sag, who's Canadian national, y'all. So should we deport him or what? Like how do we deal with him? He's black, he's an immigrant. So that's 2 strikes, right? You're almost like right there, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't mean to go political on you, but I meant to go fucking political on you. Anyway, yeah, Doug. So I'm interested in that. It looks like we might have a guest for y'all, but real quick before, and we'll get his opinion on this stuff. But so Doug, I found this interesting. The Thunder are still pretty much solidly favorite to win this series, even if they lost the first game at home. And Doug, one of the things they always say is, well, it's not a series until a team loses a home game. Well, a team lost a fucking home game. Thoughts on the odds, Doug, and thoughts on where the series is or is going to go?
Yeah. So the odds, just to be clear, before this game, the odds for the Oklahoma Center were minus 700 to win. So they dropped by half. Now, here's the thing. The last series that the Oklahoma City team played, they played Minnesota. And Minnesota, one game, beat them by 40 points. And after that, OKC just stomped the shit out of them for the rest of the series. OKC once in a while puts up these weird head-scratching clunkers, and they did it at the end of the game this time. I think Oklahoma City still wins this series, but I thought all along that Indiana was going to win probably 2 games because Indiana's super well coached. They play a style of basketball. They know exactly who they are.
And they're hard to kill.
They're hard, definitely hard to kill. They're like them and the Knicks are the 2 teams this postseason that just like they were Michael Myers. They were just going to keep coming back from the dead, kind of deal. So good on them for getting a win there. I still think Oklahoma City wins it. I could be wrong. Maybe Indiana wins it. Either way, neither team has ever won an NBA championship. That's awesome. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So let's bring on our special guest that Doug requested. Actually, Doug requested this guest. Well, Doug. So little background. After the beer collab, y'all, Doug requested that the Badger Beer Report folks come on to the Speakeasy. If y'all recall, the last time the Badger Beer Report guys were on, we were Badger Beer Hour, and also Doug was not around because it was a takeover, if y'all remember. And we had Simon on, and Simon broke the news that Venture Brewing was going to open up in I forget the place, but I forget the place because it's a MAGA fucking
area.
Anyway, Burlington. I don't know. Our guest will be able to tell us because our guest is one of the Badger Beer Report guys. Because Doug wanted them. One of them is actually never responded to my request. One of them is out of state, and one of them is right here, and his name is. Do we have a drum roll?
I don't know. You're the sound effects guy.
I know. I'm looking. Let me look. Damn it! If we don't, we're gonna have it next week.
We'll do it live.
Yeah. Well, we have
fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen. It's all fake news.
I'm doing a drum roll. Fuck that. Get rid of that. That was like the start of Jungle Love by The Time. That's what that sounds like. Come on, man.
All right. It's my colleague and friend, Joe Guy.
Hey, guys. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good to see you, Joel.
Real quick,
Yeah.
one thing about Joel that some people know, but not many people know. Doug, he has something very, very much in common with you. Actually, it's funny because the 2 white guys on the panel, y'all, have this in common, and the black man does not have this in common. And what that commonality is, drum roll again. I'm pretty sure both y'all played college ball.
Yeah.
Basketball?
That yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, just a little bit D3, not nothing, too
Same.
crazy. Yeah.
Same.
So yeah. Back in my heyday, my prime.
Yeah,
How
my
tall
prime
both
is
y'all?
30 years past.
How tall are
Yeah.
both y'all?
I'm 6'2", like a
You're
true
taller than
6'2".
me.
Yeah.
I'm like 6'1.5".
Yeah.
And what did y'all
I-
play? What was y'all's positions?
I was a point guard.
I was a shooting guard. I was shorter than you, and I was a shooting guard.
Yeah.
Although
I played some two guard too, but I primarily was point guard.
Yeah, I was a shooting guard in high school. When I got to college, they kind of pushed me into point guard because I was too short.
Yeah.
I had to learn the position of point guard at Division
Yeah.
III college level, which was not ideal.
Oh, Joel, what are you drinking? Sorry.
No, so I got something new to me. Well, I think I should have went and looked at my notes before to see if I had this, because I have not had their beer since I visited them several years ago. But we actually covered it on, I think it was Badger Beer Hour. It was before Report when we covered when they were moving into the distro circuit. But this is from Dusterbeck's Brewing Company, which is located outside of Elkhorn, about 50 minutes from downtown Milwaukee to the southwest. Out on a farm, they have a huge barn they built up. They have a big outdoor space with surrounded by cornfields with a live music stage. Really cool interior. And yeah, I have not had any of their beers since I visited it. Like it's been several years. It was pretty. I think they were pretty fresh still when I visited them. But anyway, I have their Barn Quilt Blonde or Blondie, which I'm expecting to be pretty light, pretty easy. I want to see Daniel commented. Hey, Daniel.
Yeah, he was a fan of the label.
Oh, well, he said my name too earlier, so that's why I was. Yeah.
Hey, you have fans on the show, man.
Yeah, apparently. But yeah, so I'm excited to be here to talk Badger Beer Report stuff. And Greg and I, I'm gonna say it right now. I feel like we got some momentum, and I'm pretty happy with the part I'm playing in that. I think we got some good pieces moving, and excited to continue to promote the craft beer scene here, which will continue tomorrow. I'll be at the Wisconsin beer and whatever it is. I forget because they changed it. It used to be the Wisconsin Beer Lovers Festival. And then
something similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah, they changed it this year to something because it's the Wisconsin and Beer Lovers Festival, because this year it's not just breweries. They also have wineries, distilleries, cideries. They have food, and it's all free like samples of it. So there is a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on. The ticket, thankfully, I got, getting those media passes is nice because they have a lot of that. I think it's a little bit more this year cost wise. But yeah, it should be a good time. It's at the Bavarian Beer House right there here in Glendale where I live. So yeah,
in your backyard.
Good time. Yeah, I know. It's a hop, skip, and a jump. It's at their amazing festival grounds there. Oh yeah, right there. Look at that. Greg is mostly confirmed. We'll see. We've been chatting offline. We're online, but off here.
Oh man.
So, yeah.
You just get flashbacks of my corporate job. Let's take this offline. We're not offline. We're all online.
Yeah. But yeah, did you have that purveyor of Doc beer when I came on, or did you just add that?
Okay, I can't see Joel. I can see you though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Could you hear him?
Can you hear me?
Now I can. What's going on?
Okay.
Ask that question again, Joel.
Oh, I was saying. Well, I said. Oh, okay. Or did you just add that purveyor of Doc beer label, or did you change? Or have you had that since I got on? I didn't notice it before.
Oh, it's the same one. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, no, I just meant like since I got on like right now, because that's what I know we want to talk about that. And have you guys already discussed that?
Yeah, but we want to hear. I want to hear your take on it. Sorry, Greg, didn't mean to pop in your way there. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I'm sure Greg said something very similar, but I think we were surprised at just how good it turned out. Like, not that we were expecting it to be like a mediocre beer, but I think it was more than just a good beer. And it was a beer that all four of us really, really liked and were impressed with, which I think with any style, I feel like, it has to be pretty good to get four people of our kind of caliber that all really like the same beer. And I think, having a Vienna lager is I would say a slightly more approachable style for true beer people. But I just thought it was really well balanced. The aromas were just arguably the best part of the beer, in my opinion. And we had multiple people come up to us and tell us that it was their favorite beer of the festival. And I think the other reason, though, that when Greg said, I don't know if Greg said this already or not, but one of the reasons that I think we were like trying not to hype ourselves up too much about it before we tasted it was that, like, when we were making it, it was kind of like it was a new full new like recipe, like, and they had not really made this type of Vienna lager before. So that was kind of part of like in our own mind, like, we were going to enjoy the beer no matter what, because it was like, it's our first collab. This is really cool. We're serving it at the festival, Lager and Friends. It's going to be a blast. And it was also the first time that all four of us were together. Like, it was really, really cool. And then we tasted it and we were all like, oh, like, this is genuinely a really good beer. And I think that was the beer that I think all of us drank the most of. Partially because it was readily available to us at the tip whenever we wanted it. But it was also because it was genuinely, like I said, it was probably in my top 5, I would say, of all of the lagers that I sampled, for sure. I mean, there was a handful of ones that I would put maybe slightly above it or right there around there. But it was really, really good. And I know they're planning on hopefully making it again and maybe making more of it. We'll see. And I think, as if Greg hasn't already said, I think we're going to continue to work on maybe doing some additional collabs with folks and working on bringing our brand and more beers to different parts of the state. I think it's kind of the goal of, we're not going to do collabs with, 7 Milwaukee breweries. Like, we want to be able to share the love around the great state of Wisconsin. And it helps that we're kind of, I know Chris and I are, a rock's toss apart from each other. But other than that, we've got, having Greg out in Madison and having, it's just, I don't know. It's just nice to have that kind of spread out approach. But yeah, I thought it went really, really well overall, both from a festival perspective and from the actual beer. And yeah, I wish that we could drink more of it right now. Unfortunately, that isn't happening quite yet, but we'll see. As Greg, I think Greg might be the most perturbed by that out of all of us, to be perfectly honest. I think he was ready to take home a little like a 6 keg or whatever it was back home with him to Madison. So, and we should have given one to Landon too, take back home to Eau Claire.
Yeah, but Maggie helped us out by giving us how many cases of Revolution? That was wild.
Cases.
I just grabbed a couple. I just grabbed I didn't really do anything. Up with a whole bunch of beer and was like, y'all.
And it wasn't just for, and she had it for like half a dozen plus people, like, for getting this much beer. It was insane.
Wow. All right. See, now I'm really, really upset that I didn't get to go to Lager. I can't get Revolution beer here.
There's always next year.
And I could have tried your fucking Dash beer, and I'm really. It sounds really good, and the idea of having a whole lager festival is really nifty, because that's not a festival that you would see in a lot of places, because usually there are festivals you want to have, like, here's our super heavy stouts that everybody wants to get hammered on, and I just like the idea that here's this festival of lagers. Let's show you what a straight lager, and here's how we do our style lager, and just I really
and it's continuing to grow. I feel like it's grown each year. I mean, and they said this year, whether or not it was fully up to us or just a lot of other factors probably too, but ticket sales were up 25% just from last year, and it's grown each year with participation. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And I think if Greg might have told me some of our other favorites, but there are quite a few, obviously, more, true to style lagers, but there's also some, like, really interesting that there was a smoked blonde Doppelbock, which was both Greg and I's top. I think that was each probably in our top two from working draft. There was
Working
a
draft makes great beers though, and
there was a cherry blossom rice lager from Foxtown that was incredible. There's a Vietnamese jasmine rice lager as well from Amorphic, which is one of my favorite beers right now in Milwaukee. It's becoming one of their regulars.
so what was it, jasmine rice lager? So like
so they use like the jasmine like in like the actual like oil, yeah. So like to give it like this more aromatic aroma. And I've been really big on rice lagers as of late. But yeah, it was really, really good. And so yeah, I would say still a majority of the beers are more, you saw Pilsners, different forms of Pilsners and Czechs and German, Helles and some Kolsch, Viennas. But then you did also have a pretty healthy amount of these kind of more intricate, like unique takes on lagers that pushed it a little bit more. And I see folks being excited. I like smoked blonde. Listen, I'm not even like a huge Doppelbock guy, to be perfectly honest. I'll drink them like for sure. This one was so good. The smoke was just, it was, I would say if you don't like smoke, it was not like a subtle, super subtle smoke, but it also wasn't like an over the top smoke for sure. Just really flavorful, really well done. I know Greg, Working Draft's one of my favorites out there in Madison for sure. So
yeah, Greg has sent me a few of their beers or brought them when we collaborate over here in Barrel and Flow when we go there. And man, none of their beers I've had from them have been bad. They're all good. So yeah, just the idea that they did that, just yeah. So that beer you're having there, you're enjoying that one?
I actually am. I honestly was not 100% sure that it was going to be, because, I remember Dusterbeck being, fine, but nothing, crazy. And I actually really like this. I'm glad that I have 3 more of them. It's just light, really nice balance, I would say. Nice little biscuit, a little more biscuity and malty on the aroma, but then the actual flavors got a little more of the hop character, kind of very subtle, and overall just a very light body like that. I think it said on their description that the perfect beer for the summertime and being out on the boat or something. So I agree, and I like because I mostly drink like lighter stuff when I'm at home. And mostly it's a lot of lagers, and this so it's kind of fun to have a little blonde ale here. And like I said, I made a conscious effort more recently because a lot of times I'm buying beers from the same Milwaukee breweries, and then you throw in like New Glarus, and so I made a conscious effort to try to buy beers from some Wisconsin breweries that I hadn't before, and Dusterbeck's is one of them, and so that's a fun that I got to try them outside of the tap room for the first time, and I'm quite pleased with it.
Well, that's great because the idea of just being like, hey, I'm going to try and just be a little more diverse in what I grab. I mean, because there's always where you go. You're going to a store to pick up beers they're going to have. Here's your standards and So it's one of those things. Like there's a newer brewery that's it's about 20 miles from me now. At 20 miles is not far if you're living in upstate New York. That's kind of a standard drive. But they do a lot of classic styles, and it's brand new. And I went there, and they had that guy. It's one guy that brews, and he had 10 taps, and there wasn't a beer over 6.2%. He just did all different kinds of different beers. He did a really lovely porter that was like 5.1. Like I really need to go back there, but that's the kind of stuff that
sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah,
sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah, I was telling my wife that like. I had normally Greg will tell you I used to do these nights where I'd have stouts and it would be give me this fucking giant pastry stout and I was like I'll have a sip of those anymore. I'm not interested in them. They're too sweet. So I do want to try barrel aged stouts because I want to see how the bourbon flavor plays into their stout, how they're doing their program. That more of like a interest, but goodness. Like, yeah, I just like that sort of, here's an amalgam, here's a whole mishmash of different styles that are regular traditional styles, and I'm going to do them well, and you're going to enjoy them. So
Yeah.
Y'all mind if we double back to this?
yeah.
That's what we were talking about. I said I noticed that comment, and it was we were talking about that. I don't know if you. I said that was one of the best ones for sure. I said it was in both of our probably top 2. I would say.
Yeah, I liked it so much.
Top 2 or 3.
I liked it so much I did a video. Here, friends. I already had one of my favorite beers here, even though I didn't try everything. The smoked double block from Working Draft. I'm not a double block fan. Generally, I mean, I like a good one, but this is a smoked blonde doppelbock. The smokiness is great. If you like smoked beers, it's great. It's kind of light for a doppelbock, and it's kind of not so over malty that some doppelbocks can be. And then it gives you that little hop, decent sized hop presence at the end. It's just very nice. So if you're here at Lager Friends, or if you're close to Working Draft Brewing Company, I highly recommend you go there to try the smoked blonde doppelbock.
How many Dash beers were you in at that point?
Yeah, 2.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah, that shows my still apprehensiveness about being in front of the camera more than anything. Actually, that was really early. Actually, it was like I went and got it and came back. I think Joel told me to go try it and then come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the first one I tried, I think, outside of our own.
Yeah, it
So
was.
wow.
It was great. Yeah. Yeah. So if I don't know if I'll have a designated driver for tomorrow. That's why I'm mostly confirmed, but not fully confirmed. If I don't have a designated driver, though, tomorrow is Working Drafts Check Fest, which is amazing. That's where you can get the Michael pours, Milko.
Milk pours.
What is that, Joel?
You can just call it milk pours. Is
Yeah.
Like the Mliko is like the Czech, but you just saying milk pours is fine.
And then
yeah,
and then it's Working Draft, which I think it's fair to say makes the best lagers in Madison. I think it's fair to say that. So yeah, Joel, again, we started off with your background in basketball. Did you have any comments about the NBA Finals? We know that you're a Bucks fan, but did you check out after the Bucks checked out, or are you still?
Not entirely.
What do you do?
Yeah, a little bit, not entirely, but I would say, yeah. Anytime my teams are out, it's harder to watch all of the games. But it is, it's hard to argue with. I feel like every series it's been like, oh, the Pacers can't keep doing this, and every series I forget how many different stats there have now been with them being down X number of points with X time remaining, and it's like, oh, in 100 and some, and then they're always the one, and it's been like 4 different times that they've done this, and the number of game winners, and the Bucks fans tend to not like Halliburton. Because he's always like, they've always kind of the Pacers for a long time were kind of like the front runners, and they did not always like, they were pretty taunting to Dame, and they were pretty a little over the top with it, and at the time it was kind of like, well, you guys haven't done anything, like these guys are champs and everything, but I mean, this playoff run, you can't argue. I mean, people can say that, oh, well, you can't keep getting that lucky. Well, at this point, they've done it enough. That is just how they play. Like the pace that they play at and the consistency in their belief is like, because they just, Oklahoma City is probably the closest team to them in terms of like both of them played at a very quick pace. But Indiana just is relentless. And that's why like you see these runs at the end of games, because they just like wave after wave, the bench is in, and like they just don't ever slow down the entire 48 minutes. I do still think, I agree, like I do still think Oklahoma City is the better team. But at this point, I mean, people thought that the Pacers were the worst team in the arguably every series. I think the Bucks series was, especially once Dame got injured, and the fact that that was kind of, it was a surprise how quick the series ended, but not a surprise that the Pacers won that one. But the other two series in the Eastern Conference, I think going in, most people would have picked against the Pacers. So we'll see. And I know you guys were talking about, ratings and all that kind of stuff. And I think there's a lot of the stuff you guys said are true. I also think the NBA as a league itself has done arguably the shittiest job in marketing itself. And with the presentation, when you tune into that game, you don't. If someone just tunes in and they don't know sports, they have no idea that that's the finals. There's nothing on the court. There's no logos on the court. There's nothing. There was no pregame presentation. There was no montage. There was no starting lineup announcements. Just zero to make it feel special. And yet they're doing stuff like when the Bucks won the in-season tournament. Those courts were fancy, and they even had like the big trophy in the court for the finals, and they had all this special stuff. And for whatever reason, I think Adam Silver has done some very good things, but I think in a lot of cases he's fallen short. And this is definitely one of the things where it's like you worry about not getting fans excited enough because they're small market, and then it's like you're not going out of your way, but you're just continuing to shoot yourself in the foot by making the product seem even less exciting by not making a big deal. Like, I mean, how many times growing up where it's like, especially with a game one, because I get it. Like you're like for like game 4, like you don't need to have like the super long pregame introductions and the big long montage and everything. But it's like, that's part of what makes that first game, like people tune in, like the game 1 of the NBA finals, game 1 of the World Series, obviously the Super Bowl, but that's different for this one game. But people are tuning in to see the national anthem and to see the starting lineups and to have the really cool montages where you see clips from the past 60 years of champions, and it's like that is part of what that gets that excitement up for this series. And then you throw in the factor that these are two teams that are primarily not known for being in this position. And it's not that people like the new generation uses the term aura, like that. Oh, does this have aura? Like, does it carry, this weight? And I get like why I get why it kind of doesn't. But at the same time, people that actually like basketball, this is a great series. Like, it's a really fun series to watch because both these teams, if you can take away, like, I don't like the Pacers. If you can take away, if you have like a dislike towards one of these teams, if you can take that away, and especially if you're just a complete bystander, these are two incredibly fun teams. I would argue it's one of the more fun matchups. I think the gap is a little bit bigger than some past matchups, but in terms of like how fun these teams are, it's hard to argue on, comparing it to a lot of previous series in terms of the pace, the young talent, the fact that they both play a very exciting brand of basketball for the most part, both offensively and defensively. So yeah, I'm hoping that it, I would have guessed that it was going to go 5, maybe 6. Now I definitely think it's going to go 6, hopefully 7. I think a game 7 in Oklahoma City would be absolutely electric. But yeah, I do think that it's interesting that, the NBA suffers from the market talk. No other sport really does. Even in baseball has it some, for sure. But baseball also has a different
marketing itself.
And baseball also has a big difference where without the salary cap, like there is a true difference between your ability with spending between like the Dodgers and the Brewers or the Yankees and the Rays, like, whereas with the NBA, everybody's on even footing, but it's not covered that way. It's very much not covered that way. And it's a shame because people don't realize that the parity that has now existed in the NBA now for the last like 7, 8, because I think it's going to be the 7th or 8th straight year that we're going to have a different champion. Like there has not been this like 7 different teams that have won the last 7 titles. I think it's something like that. And that should be great for the sport. And people should be excited about having new teams in it. And instead, we have people like Stephen A. Smith and we have people like Kendrick Perkins, like yapping about how, no one's going to watch. And it's like, well, yeah, because you're telling them not to watch because you're saying that it's not worth it. And it does go back to the fact that the NBA has always marketed players over teams, which is inherent of the sport because you only have 5 guys out there instead of 22, like in football. So that is how it works. That the players become, in some cases, bigger than the team, a la like a LeBron. But yeah, so that would be my overall kind of take on it. That real ball heads, this is a great series for them, but that I do understand why there's issues with it, both from a product standpoint and a marketing standpoint. And that's just how it is. And unless they make changes, I think we're actually moving more and more towards teams like these, though, that are built in this manner, because the change in the NBA as of late is that it's no longer about if your 2 or 3 best players, like in the big 3, or if your 2 or 3 best players can beat the other team's 2 or 3 best players. It's now, can your 4 through 7 guys, can they hold up and play on defense or on offense? Because otherwise, now the way the game is played, people it's matchup hunting, and so it's less about if your greatest players can step up and more about can your worst players hold the rope, because teams have become so good at being able to find exactly who they want to attack on defense. Be like, these are the 2 guys that we can attack every time down the floor. This is the position that we need to be in. This is how we get them into certain movements. And then that's partially why you saw in the Bucks series, you see guys like Kyle Kuzma getting played off the floor. You see guys like Brook Lopez getting played off the floor at times. Like that has what the NBA has become. And that's why, the Pacers and the Thunder are arguably 2 of, if not the 2 deepest teams, when it comes to both ends of the floor. So I think that could be a sign of things to come. But yeah, I can talk a long time about sports. I can cut it off there. But yeah, I do love talking. Football and basketball are kind of the 2 things that outside of craft beer that I actually know a bit about. So,
Doug, you got a follow up for all that?
No, Joel just said it all. The only thing I will say is that I have long been a person that I like to watch really good, well played offense. People would shit on the Golden State Warriors. The motion that they do in offense is always fascinating to watch. And the thing is, if you're not like a basketball head or somebody who really pays attention to that shit,
or who played at least,
you just don't understand. Just like, okay, Steph Curry's there. Steph Curry affects everything on that court. Every time he moves, the whole defense has to shift. And he is a unique. Like LeBron doesn't even do that really. Not to the same level. No, and it's just fascinating to watch, and I'm always going to really want to gravitate towards teams that are really good offensively. That said, the way Oklahoma City can turn defense
electric
is just electric, and that was the one thing they didn't do in the first game. They were ahead 13 almost the whole time, and then blah, 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 blah. But they didn't have that one run that just kind of just clobbered the other team.
Yeah, because their offense just wasn't there for some stretches, because they forced they forced how many turnovers in the first
19,
half, and they just couldn't,
19.
and they just couldn't pull away. Like offensively, it was just kind of clunky. Which, I mean, you have to remember, this is the first NBA Finals for just about everybody in this series. So you're gonna have some stretches like that where nerves are getting the best of some folks. So
sure. And like you, I could talk basketball literally all night. I could do that all night. But, I want a good series. I was worried this wasn't going to be a good series. And now if we can get 6 games, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah, I think we should. I would be shocked if
I was going to be 5.
Yeah.
So if we get 6, great.
I agree.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Craig.
I wasn't shocked, Doug, about how good this one was. Doug, did you have this one? It's Hemmings from 2 locals.
Yeah, I had that a while back when we had Monty on the show.
West Philly, 2 locals, black owned. This beer, Doug, is fucking excellent. This beer is fucking excellent. Imperial Stout, everything, man. It has everything you want out of Imperial Stout. It's just really fucking excellent, actually. I haven't been blown away by any of 2 locals, to keep it clean. I haven't been blown away. I've liked their stuff, but I haven't been blown away. This one is amazing. Anybody else have another beer before we get to the next topic? Which
Joel, do
is
you
gonna
or
be
do you want me to
interesting, I
go?
think.
You can go. I was still drinking this blonde that I'm enjoying.
So I went into my cellaring fridge and I pulled something
Uh-oh.
that I'm not sure that, if I recall, I'm not even sure are they producing anywhere. I don't even. So here we go. So this I pulled out, Greg. Check this out.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. Surly.
Surly, baby. Look at that. Look at that fucking box. What a box on that.
Yeah, Surly has good art.
They certainly
Yeah,
do.
they do.
Good
This-
tap room.
Yeah.
They're an OG, but in my opinion, fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was canned in
Yeah.
September of 2023. So this is 2 years old.
Okay. Surly Darkness is an excellent beer. I can't. While I want to bitch about it, we got a new Glarus.
Cabin fever.
All right. I'm gonna
Classic.
pour mine. And I'll give a little quick thing, and then Joel, I want to hear about Cabin Fever. I've never seen or heard of that one from New Glarus, so that is going to be a good one to hear.
Oh
about.
yeah, that's a staple out here.
So, cheers! You got my giant Jones glass representing Wisconsin. Ta-da!
Ha 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 ha. Yep.
Ooh, baby!
Mm-hmm.
Yum yum yum.
Mm-hmm. Surly Darkness is a good beer.
That is it's definitely, the bourbon notes are really good, but like it almost feels a little like, almost has like a woody note to it that I'm really intrigued by. But man, so I kept that in my cellar fridge for 2 years. So cheers to you folks. Really good. Glad I had it.
Don't
Go
buy
ahead.
any Surly anymore unless you want to support Union Busters. Anyway.
Okay, well, I won't be doing that. So
Yeah, fuck them. I love them into that. So, but also though, Joel knows some. To say that Joel knows about breweries is kind of wild. Anyway, Joel knows some, but you can just completely skip Surly up in Minneapolis and be perfectly fine.
Yeah, just there's so many, especially just in St. Paul alone. I mean, you've got, two of the best ones in the whole state. I mean, Barrel Theory and Black Stack, and those are both just absolutely insane. But yeah, there's easily, I would say, Surly is very, very. I would still say there's for sure 8 to 10 that I would put above them easily, and there might be more. But there's a lot of good beer to be had up there in the Twin Cities, especially if you start once you venture into the suburbs too, then there's even more. But
you said Ven. There's Ven.
I did say Ven.
Ven.
Wild Mind. Let me go. Since we're on the topic here, I got my spreadsheet, baby. Let me go find it here.
Also, RIP to Dangerous Man. I think they were out of
But yeah, I would say Black Stack. Let's see here. Where else? Barrel
Lupulin.
Theory.
There's so many.
Lupulin, that's Dan Bobian's space right there.
Lupulin.
Wild Mind. Oh, Fair State. That's up there.
Fair State. Yes.
My dad's a really big fan of Insight. I really like Falling Knife in Minneapolis. Falling Knife is really good.
What a great name.
Bricksworth. Bricksworth is really, really good. They're based out of Burnsville, but they opened up a tap room in the North Loop. So they are really phenomenal beer. And then let me see what else. St. Paul Brewing and Wandering Leaf. Those are other good ones in St. Paul that are good too.
Yeah. Town Hall's good too.
Yeah, that I actually haven't been to that one, Greg. So
Town Hall's pretty good. Good. So a couple things. Obviously, Pride Month. Shout out to that. Also, one thing that we haven't talked about, it's Male Mental Health Month, which is always, we always like to talk about that. But what I actually really wanted to talk about, Joel, Doug already knows, is one of the things I did during childhood, but late childhood, early adulthood, more, was drive-ins, and today is National Drive-In Movie Day. So I made some questions here. I didn't even know that you were going to be on until later this week, but I made some questions for Doug and I to talk about. So we will talk about that, and Joel will give you some time to look at this, and Doug and I will go through first. Doug, if you don't mind, I'll take the first. I'll go through this first. So I don't know. I made this because today's National Drive-In Month, Movie Day. I had a lot of fun when I was early adulthood with drive-ins. Mostly, sneaking in beer and sneaking in stuff, and sneaking in contraband, smoking weed in the back. Pulling up to the
Great.
back, pulling up to the back of the
Jeez.
drive-in where there was like a forest, and I don't know, just a whole lot of shenanigans. It was fun. The last time I was visiting one though, I believe I took my kids to one here in Wisconsin. I forget the movie, but it was fun, and I don't know. It was somewhat fun. It wasn't fun enough that I went back though with them. So any fun memories? There's just so many. But really, the overall thing was this. I just like being outside watching a movie. I actually liked that. I didn't like being cramped in. I liked just the ability. I don't know. It just felt open and more free. I don't know.
Drive-ins.
What movies did we see at the drive-in?
What is the ideal car
I have no
for
idea.
a drive-in movie
We'll get
experience?
onto one.
Obviously, the ideal car is a pickup truck where you can
That was when we were
sit
just
right.
dating.
I'll mute Joel. Yeah. So I would say pickup truck would be that one. What's one modern day amenity or that I would love to see, or one classic element? I'm gonna do the modern day amenity. Curbside. Hello. I want to be able to order and you deliver me my popcorn and my shit. That's what I want. So that'll be it. Do you think drive-in movie theaters have a place in the future of entertainment, or are they a charming relic of the past? I think it's pretty clear that they're a charming relic of the past, but maybe I'm wrong. I just don't see kids doing it. I don't see adults doing it. Doug, what's going on with you, Doug? When was the last? What is your overall view of drive-ins? And then go down the list, buddy.
They're just to jump to the relic of the past. I think that's exactly what they are. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I think there's sort of a wistful reminiscence of it. Just the idea of being able to go to do that. The last time visiting one, when we were in pre-production, I was like, man, I'm trying to, like earlier when we were talking, I'm trying to remember. And then I remembered a few years or a year after the movie Twister came out, I actually saw that in a drive-in. Now, if you remember the movie Twister, there's actually a scene where a tornado goes through a drive-in.
Yeah.
And that is like the weirdest, like symbiotic moment where I'm like at a drive-in, just like, holy, okay, this is all right. Fun memories. I mean, when I was in high school, I went to a few drive-ins with, girls I was interested in, and, maybe there were some fun memories there, but not as much fun memories as you would think. Maybe more frustration, but yeah. As far as Greg, could you put that up again? The ideal car. I'm going to tell you a station wagon, like, especially if you have a lot of people, like the idea of having that much space, people could sit in the back and then look over, like it could usually with the station wagons, you could lay a seat down so people could also watch. You could put some or you could back in and open up the gate and then just have your fucking like sleeping bags and hanging out there. I always thought that was a good one. A modern amenity, booze, just booze. Like, give me a beer while I'm watching there. I mean, not too much because I have to drive home. So yeah, that is or maybe more food than just like the standard popcorn shit. Food to your car, yeah, but like the idea of
What do you want, Doug? Lobster? What do you want?
no. I want more than just here's popcorn. One, I'm not a fan of popcorn. I don't like
You want
that.
pizza? Pretzel
would be fine.
nuggets? What's up?
I would like pizza, but not that shitty. Here's your. I'm going to take this really shitty Tony's pizza and I'm going to shove it in an oven. That's pizza you're going to get. I don't want that. I want some actual pizza. But at any rate, I just feel like, you know how when you go to movie theaters now, they have this shit where you can go to certain movie theaters and they will serve you like a meal and like beer, and we don't have that where I am in upstate New York. So I don't get that. I don't get that experience. I would like to have that at drive-in. The other thing is, like somebody mentioned, JHE mentioned having an SUV with a good sound system. When I remember going into the fucking drive-in, they had the goddamn little speaker you stuck on your fucking car window, and that was your fucking speaker for the fucking movie, and that was terrible. But like being able to tune into it, that would be a really cool thing. So, yeah. Sorry, I went on a bit there.
Well, no, you didn't. Who cares? Actually, I have a follow-up question. Oh, wait. So, what was your amenity, Doug?
Basically, better food options or beer.
So higher end junk food, basically, is what I'm hearing.
Sure, higher end junk food's a great way to say it.
Right, and you want to deliver to your car, though, right? You don't want to have to go stand in line and shit like that.
Right? I want. Hey, put roller skates on them, make it paved, make them fucking do it like an old fucking drive-in, joint.
And is there a classic? Is there a classic element that you want to make sure that stays?
I don't know. It's going to sound weird, but when you go in and just the idea of going in and paying at like this person who's in a booth, there's like a weird nostalgia to it that I think is really goofy and fun. So, yeah.
Okay. So no like virtual tickets or any of that shit.
Yeah. This is great. This is a good point, Jerry. This is a great point. Just the idea of not watching at other screens. Remember, I don't know, did you guys have the ones where there was like 3 screens and so they were all around you and people would be pointing into direction, but you could watch all the movies? Did you guys have that? I did.
Right.
Joel did. No, Joel, you didn't have that? Just
no.
Screen?
Multiplex drive-ins, yes. Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yeah, Joel. So what's going on with you?
I think I don't even know if I went to one of my youth. I probably like when I was like a kid, but then I the only time I can fully remember is I went with my now wife when we were dating. So this would have been like 2013 or 14. And we went to the drive-in that was a little outside of the town that she grew up in. I don't remember what the movie was, to be honest. Ideal car would be, some sort of larger SUV with plenty of like space that you're not cramped and that you have the option to like pop. Because like I know a lot of folks would probably say like like having a pickup truck if you like are outdoorsy. I don't need to be outdoors. I like having the option. Just because it's not even the weather thing. It's like because the one at least that we went to, it's like out in the fields. It's just like there's going to be bugs everywhere. It's summer. Like I don't need to deal with that.
It's warm. It's sweaty.
Yeah, like I don't need to do that. I would say that I wasn't sure when I was thinking about the modern amenity, and then when Greg said to have it come to you because they already do this in regular movie theaters. I guess it's now been over a decade since I've been to one. Maybe some of them do offer that, but I would agree with you, Greg, that having the where they bring it to your window would be very smart. And while I do think overall it's a relic of the past, I do think that relics of the past still have a small part in the society, because I think that even though they're not around like in mass numbers, some of them are around because there's a nostalgia of people still think it's fun to go do something different. And even though it's no longer nostalgia anymore for a lot of people that would be going, like, I mean, even my generation not many people grew up going to the drive-in.
True.
But I think just to try it a couple times, like, people enjoy doing something a little bit different. So,
Yeah.
like you guys said, it's primarily a relic of the past for sure, but that in the certain, like, it's I don't know that we're necessarily on the cusp of them going away entirely. I think the one in Iowa that we went to is still open, I want to say. What? Yeah, my wife heard me say that. She said, "Yeah, it is." So yeah,
Nice to have callbacks on the outside. So that's good.
yeah. But like I said, yeah, I don't. I think that's the only time I really remember going to one. I think there were two movies. I can't for the life of me remember what they were though. So
Grease. Hopefully.
no, I don't think either. I think they were like
That's
relative.
the
I
worst
think they
movie
were
ever.
like pretty new movies at the time. But I guess I could try to look up movies that were around in those years and try to figure it out. But I don't care enough to. So you're just gonna have to go with that.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Y'all have any other beers you want to talk about before I get to the next thing?
Joel, you talked about the New Glarus one, right? Did you? Maybe I missed it. Maybe
Yes.
I missed it.
No, I didn't. So Cabin Fever so they call it a Wisconsin Bock. A Wisconsin honey Bock is what it's essentially a slightly lighter. It's like so it's very similar, like, basically my Bock, but they use Wisconsin wildflower honey in it, and it's they use all Midwestern hops and stuff, or all Wisconsin malts, all Midwestern malts, but so I would say it's a slightly sweeter, but you can definitely tell the difference between, like, having that little honey kind of character. So it's a sweetness that is different from your typical, like, malty sweetness. So yeah, it's good. Another really quality. I mean, most everything out of New Glarus, of course, is very high quality. Greg and I actually just talked on Tuesday. We were updating. I don't know if you saw, Doug. We had some pictures. They are really moving on with the New Glarus expansion. There is some movement. They are building out there, man. New Glarus. I said this on the show when we were talking live. Once this is done, New Glarus is going to be one of the certainly top, like, 3 to 5 destination breweries in the whole country. They're already kind of up in that echelon, like the top 10 is like they're already up in that echelon. But this is going to put them firmly as, like, you can make an argument that this is the best. Like, so, I mean, like, right now, you think a place like I mentioned that, the Sierra Nevada outside of Asheville is often regarded, as one of the tops. Jester King outside of Austin, Amagang. Like, there's a handful of, like, destination breweries that are in that kind of conversation. But well, yeah, have a good night. I'm probably not going to be long for this either, to be honest. My kids have been waking up at like 5:30 or 6, and I've been having to deal with them in the night too sometimes. So, and I have a big day tomorrow. Whether or not Greg is going, I will be at the Wisconsin Beer Lovers Fest. So,
yeah, I'm not 100% sure, Joel. But before you go, though, since you're a published author, do you want to talk about your book real quick?
Yeah.
drop it. Yeah, I can shout this out for folks. Flights Across America. I can't remember if I've talked about it before and everything, but I just posted about it today, actually, because it's a perfect Father's Day gift. You can find it on Amazon or pretty much anywhere that you would buy your books. You can find it. I'm even in some local bookstores around here around the Milwaukee area. But yeah, it's basically kind of part memoir, part travel guide, part how-to guide, all put into one. After visiting, at this point, I'm over 1,400, but when I finished, I was just under 1,400 breweries across all 50 states. This was my culmination. Basically, starting off with a whole bunch of kind of facts about the craft beer industry and talking about how I go about, visiting breweries, things I'm looking for, questions that I like to ask, how to go about planning, visiting breweries. Yeah, Daniel, I appreciate the support. I kind of figured that, that you probably had one. I think you may have commented that at some other point too. But yeah, and then the main part of the book is breakdowns where I talk about my experiences visiting breweries in just about every major city across the country, and minor city for that matter, and giving little tidbits and fun facts about these breweries kind of sewn throughout to try to paint a little picture of the craft beer scenes everywhere. And then one of my, one a really fun part of the book too is that the last 70-ish pages of the book are all color photos of some of my favorite flight boards and some tap rooms and views from tap rooms. And I also have my best of lists because I gave out 20 awards for my annual review each year. And so I list out all 7 of my award winners for different categories and some honorable mentions, which I always tell people, people always ask, oh, what's your favorite breweries, favorite beers? Those lists are pretty much the closest you're going to get out of a true answer from me. Because it's like people ask that and they understand. It's like it truly is it's not a question you can truly answer, because if you had to, and I wouldn't even say that they're my favorite for beer, but if you had to make me pick one brewery, I'm going to probably pick New Glarus, Wisconsin Pride, just their entire story, the quality of the beer, the quality of the experience visiting them. But overall, these breweries all offer so many different things. Like some of my favorite, one of my favorite breweries, Chuckanut out of Washington, that they only make just 2 style lagers. Speciation in Grand Rapids, Michigan, makes some of the best. That's just all like really amazing sour stuff. Like you just did. Yes, speciation. Yeah. See, when I visited them, they were still in their tiny little spot in Comstock Park outside of Grand Rapids, and I'm so thrilled that they moved into a bigger place in Grand Rapids. But yeah, so I mean that's kind of the gist of it. Like everything offers so many unique things, and so those lists are kind of the best way that you can get an answer out of me. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I have some events that I'm going to be coming up. I got a couple events coming up in the Twin Cities, actually coming up later this month. At the end of the month, I'm going to be doing an event up at Titletown in Green Bay, up on their rooftop deck, doing a big Q&A there. So that'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully going to be doing one down in Iowa again at another point, and I'm going to be doing some others here in Wisconsin as well. And I'm going to be doing one down in St. Louis later in the summer too. Not because I'm making a special trip there, but I'm going through there for something else. And I have a good beer friend down there, Brian, who's STL Beer, that he does tons and tons of stuff. And yeah, Greg, I know that you've gotten you know him as well. And so I'm going to be doing an event down there in August. So yeah, it's just, the book is basically my passion project. Oh, no, you're 30. Yeah, that's what I sent you that too. These are in the book too, but these are kind of, I had some folks read, so like before the book came out, because these are on inside the front cover. Some of including our good friend Chris.
I was going to say ignore the first one because
it's I was scraping the barrel for folks to write.
Really.
I was just using him for his title, because I felt like people that don't know him would just read the executive editor of the Milwaukee Magazine and be like, oh yeah, he knows what he's talking about, and they don't actually know him. So
Chris, right, they don't know Chris. Right.
Yeah, I'm using this for a title, but yeah, so it's basically my love letter to craft breweries, and it was truly my passion project that I worked on for several years, and it has been a joy to share it with people. And it's a lot of it's just fun for me to be able to flip through, and it's fun for me to see people reading it. And I had it at Lager and Friends and sold a few copies, and it's plugging away in one book at a time, trying to get into the hands of more and more beer lovers all over the country, because it's, whether you're an experienced craft beer traveler or more of a novice just getting into it, I think it's written in a way that is enjoyable for everybody. That was kind of my goal.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed reading it. So cheers to you there, Joel.
Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that. I know I apologize that upstate New York is not, a place that I have gotten to enjoy much of. I hope to be able to rectify that. I know the beer scene up there is very good. But yeah,
Surprisingly, if you can get here, there's a beer scene in the Finger Lakes, which is wine country.
yes, I know. Yeah.
That has really been blossoming. That I think if you get this way, I'd be happy to go with you. And do
Yeah. Well, I have another good beer friend who's based out of Beer Traveler friend. He was actually one of the writers who's been to over 3,000 brews, Chris O'Leary, and he's based in New York City. And so he's told me like he's been to all over New York, and so he's big there at the bottom there, editor of Brew York, and he's big on that whole region there in upstate New York. So I do hope to get there someday. But I'm also, I got to Houston. I'm getting to Detroit later this year for the first time. I'm just grateful for the experiences I've had. Like I can't, I always say, oh, there's always more places to be, but I also have to make sure that whenever I think about and talking about the book with people, I have to take a step back and be truly grateful and thankful for all the places I've been able to go and visit breweries has been incredible. And getting to share that with folks has been arguably the best part, which, a generation ago wouldn't have been as easy, but thankfully via social media and, now with the book, it's been possible.
Buddy. And on that note, if you would like to say
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
I will. Well, I'm glad. Thanks for having me on. And anytime you guys need somebody to commandeer the conversation and talk too much, Greg knows where to find me. He knows all about that. At least I know my role. I know my role, baby. And Greg, I hope to see you. Otherwise, if I don't see you tomorrow, we'll have Badger Beer Report on the ground at 2 different events. Not a bad thing either. But yeah, we'll be talking. I know if you come, I will wear it with pride if you're here. Otherwise, for the next time.
Otherwise, you'll wear it with shame.
Be positive.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't have one. I don't have one yet. That's the problem. He'd have to bring it to me. So. Yeah. But otherwise, great taste. Great taste. We'll have them for sure.
We'll have them. Yeah. All right, Joel.
Thanks, Joel.
See you soon. Talk to you soon.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
buddy. Joel, he's fun to work with for sure, Doug. He's fun to work with. You're also fun to work with, Doug, and you would want to talk about something tomorrow.
Yeah. So y'all are doing stuff tomorrow, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going to. Wait, hold on. There's something that is. Here we go. Aspire Brewing in Middletown, New York. You might ask, why am I going there tomorrow? I'm going to show you. It is because
you like to go to breweries.
I do, but I also am going there because of this, which is they are doing a Beer Babes family release.
Ooh.
At Aspire Brewing in Middletown, which is about 2 hours from me. But I'm hopeful to meet a few of the Beer Babes family there. I'll be wearing my shirt. I am super looking forward to it. I cannot remember. They didn't say what they were releasing that I can recall. So I'm looking for it. It's in Wallkill, which oddly enough, one of my fraternity brothers from college, his family is from there, but he doesn't live there anymore. But I've been to Wallkill a few times. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what this beer is and what they're doing. And we've had them on the show twice. We have Rachel on twice. We have Rachel and then also Shayna Mose on at the same time. So, hey, man, if we can promote and support those folks, I'm all for it. And the fact that it's close to me is really cool, close-ish. So, yeah, that's what I'll be doing tomorrow.
Yeah, they had a release last week, Doug, but I was at Lager and Friends.
Well, what's interesting is, so tomorrow they had this release in Middletown, and then Sunday they have a release of a Beer Babes beer in Yonkers. Yonkers is closer to New York City. I'm not driving to Yonkers, but so Middletown's a bit closer to me, so I'm gonna be doing that tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what they're releasing, but I'm sure it'll be great because they really take care to what they release with what breweries they work with. So that'll be fun. And I've never had anything from Aspire Brewing. I don't know if Daniel has. He's in New York State too. Maybe he has. I have not, so I'm looking forward to trying that.
Mm-hmm. Good times. All right. Cool. Yeah, it's the summer, so it's a good. I said, we put summer in our marquee. Summer is a good time for events like this. Yeah. Yonkers. Mm-hmm.
Hold on a sec.
So, Doug, I don't know. I feel we're gonna wrap it up here,
Sure.
unless you have something to say, of course. Because obviously this is your platform as much as it is mine. But it's Sunday.
And that's when he was saying next week. So maybe Sunday is technically next week. I was just letting him know that beer release in Yonkers.
Oh, so the one in Yonkers is Sunday, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Let me pull it up again, and then and I'll let him know what brewery is. So here. But yeah, it is. It is Fenceline. No, Yonkers Brewing, specifically Yonkers Brewing. Oh well, that's that makes it a little bit of a challenge there, Daniel. Sorry, I didn't realize you had two kids' birthdays. Jesus, man, did you plan that? Because holy shit.
Yeah, I'm sure they planned it, Doug.
If you did, I don't know why you planned it that way, but good on you.
Well, I don't know. You get them both out of the way, right? Like, isn't that the whole?
I guess.
Nah, I don't know. Right? It does complicate things, though. For sure.
There's also so I don't know. Is your guy Landon? Is he near Green Bay? Green Bay-ish?
I would say Chris and Joel are closer to Green Bay.
Because Hinterland Brewing has a Beer Babes release in July, on July 26th.
Hinterland. Hinterland is the one that's under literally under the shadow of Lambeau Field.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they are doing that.
That's a good
for a
one
guy.
to do it with.
Yeah, Armani is not in this, but in Lewes, Delaware, September 13th, which is my birthday, is they're doing a release with Big Oyster Brewing. So trying to find ones that folks who are near us that would be able to attend.
I need to get them in with Giant Jones. Now,
man, that'd be great. Listen, I will.
To them, but I hold on a sec, though. I sent it to them, but I don't think I didn't actually say, "Hey, you need to do like." So I need to talk to Mari, and get it in there. But anyway, go on though.
I will ask them about that tomorrow. Like, I will be like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Because that's the thing is, I know they would love to be able to do stuff with Giant Jones. So I'll talk to him about it tomorrow.
Yeah, and I don't know what JJ's up to, but next week's their birthday, so that'll be great.
No, that's September 13th. That's not next week.
No, next week is Giant Jones's birthday.
Oh, okay. I was like, my birthday. No, sorry.
Yeah. No. Next week is Giant Jones's anniversary party. So
yeah,
one of their big days. So I'll be there then. I don't know, Doug. If you don't have anything, we're gonna wrap this little baby up here. Okay, cool.
I'm good with that.
Well, I need to get to. So my three favorite are, or my three were here, minus Stucky. The first one, the best one here was this that two locals that's coming around here, that Pike right here. Let's see here.
Hemmings.
Yeah, Hemmings is it? Okay, so yeah, here's Hemmings. Yeah, Imperial Stout, beautiful, big, deep, dark. This is just great, and you know, the great imperial stout could be had in the summer, winter, spring, fall, all
Yep.
those things. My next favorite one was this one, actually, this key lime pie. I got a lot of vanilla out of that, which I liked actually, Doug. And some of a lot of lime. Now that key lime is just such a different lime taste than normal lime, and I think that throws off sometimes people's when you hear key lime, you almost think just lime. You don't hear key lime, which is a different. You know what I'm talking about, Doug. There's a lot
Sure
because
do.
you're a key lime pie fan, so you know what I'm talking about. So this one actually had it. I thought, Doug. I don't know. You're the key lime pie person, right?
I loved it.
Yeah, and then the third was this brown ale that I don't know. I thought it was maybe it was the hops in it that were made it different. It wasn't bad. It was just different.
No,
I think
listen,
it was
you
hops
and
or something.
yeah. So listen, I liked all my beers. That's the thing is I was really lucky tonight, and sometimes it doesn't happen. But I agree that again, this was just it was not bad. It was good. It was really good. It was just slightly below the other two. So this was really good. Daniel, thank you for sending me this brown ale. It was a good brown ale, I think. So for me, it was good. I agree with you that the key lime sour, I enjoyed that. And that's funny because I'm not a sour person, but the fact that this was more tart and it was really tart. That was the other thing. Is like I was like, all right, you're leaning into the tartness, and I'm good with that. And I got a little bit of vanilla. I got that graham cracker smell off of it. So yeah, that was good. But man, this surly 2-year-old surly imperial stout, Jesus, that was awesome. I still have a little bit of it left, and I'll finish all that. I finished all my beers; they were all good. So this thing here, also the can art
And what was it, Doug? Remember what was the date on that?
September of 2023. So not quite 2 years old, so a year and a half. So, but anyway, what's cool is they also say
you could say it aged well.
I can. And what's funny is they have on the side they have this whole thing, and then it says a 2023 Imperial Stout, art by Justin Bone. But look at that art on that can. That is just superb. And you know how I am about can art, so yeah. Yeah.
You a sucker.
Yeah, I am. And that was worth all the suckiness. That was really good.
That's great. That's great. All right, Doug. Well, good luck in your beer travels tomorrow. Good luck on my beer travels tomorrow. Something will go down either way.
Yep.
Next week we'll be back with the Dad 2. And who knows? And then real quick, Doug, Tuesday again?
Tuesday will be Mortal content, and it will be with Hop Geeks News, talking about the Marvel universe, which is vast and all over the place. And our goal is to talk about it in general, but also have some hot takes. But I one hot take in particular that's probably not going to make them very happy. So I'm looking forward to that.
Also, I don't know, you're driving. Of course, actually, I'll tell you after I hit end here.
Okay.
All right. Have a good weekend too, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry. Also, Jerry, I'll be seeing you in a few months. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, I know. All right.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend,
Cheers, folks. Cheers, folks.